I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for silent reflection and pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have a roll call here?
Mrs. Cynthia?
Here.
Mrs. King?
Here.
Mr. O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Schuler?
Here.
Mr. Tinkin?
Here.
Mr. Borbach?
Here.
Mayor Mechanico?
Here. Please read the Open Public Meeting Act.
Pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Borough Clerk, posted on the bulletin board here in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the CoStar newspaper, and mailed to those requesting notice and providing payment in accordance with borough policy.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the revised Resolution 156 and Resolution 160.
That motion?
Second.
I'll make that motion. Second?
Any questions on the agenda? Roll call.
Mrs. Cynthia?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
Yes.
Mr. Borbach?
Yes.
Thank you. At this point in the meeting, we move right to the public comment section. People may approach the mic and speak on any agenda item. Just give your name and address.
Mr. Murphy, I have an announcement to make regarding the Monmouth County Hazard Mitigation Update. I'm the current emergency coordinator for the borough. The Monmouth County and its 53 municipalities have been working on the update of the Monmouth County Multi-Jurisdictional Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan since August of 2012. The draft of the updated plan is expected to be released in early fall of this year. The first countywide plan was completed in 2009. The plan is a documented evaluation of the natural hazards to which a community is susceptible and the extent to which these events will occur. It identifies in areas of vulnerability to the effects of natural hazards, the goals, objectives, and actions required to minimize future loss. Mitigation is the preparation and planning now to reduce loss of life and property later by lessening the impacts of future disasters. The plan allows the county and the participating municipalities to apply for pre- and post-disaster mitigation grant funding through FEMA. Once released, residents can review the draft of all the natural hazard mitigation plan for the county and its 53 municipalities by visiting www.monmouthsheriff.org, click on the OEM icon, and select Hazard Mitigation Planning. A copy of this notice is posted in the Borough Hall and is currently posted on the Borough of Spring Lake Heights websites in two places. It's under Public Notices and under OEM.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Rita.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak on the agenda item? Seeing no hands, I need a motion to close public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a discussion item, the right-of-way on Lake Drive.
Yes, Mayor, this item was listed as a discussion item in response to the request that the council received and was reviewed at our last meeting. At that time, the council instructed that this matter would be carried until such time as the planning board had an opportunity to review it. This was scheduled for a hearing before the planning board last week. That hearing was postponed, so I don't believe the council's plan to move forward at this time. That hearing has been rescheduled and is, I believe, going to take place in at the planning board's October meeting.
And do you know why it was postponed?
There was some issue regarding the notification.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Jay. I move to the council reports. We'll start with Councilman Timken.
Sure, we're in our third week of the soccer program. We've upgraded the soccer program this year. As you may know, we bring in a soccer training group to work with our kindergarten and first grade students, and now we've moved that also to work with our second, third, and fourth grade students on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. So they receive a more structured soccer training program on Wednesdays, and we're looking to continue that as we build the program.
Very good. Thank you. Councilman Borbeck.
Nothing to report now.
Councilwoman Sidney. Thank you. Councilwoman King.
I have a couple of things to report on. First of all, there was a national night out against crime prevention, and I just wanted to make mention that Detective Mike Matunas from our police force was very involved in that particular night out that was held at the Seagirt Army Camp in Seagirt, and the turnout was exceptional. They also this year had a classic car display, which was very, very well attended. Also, in reference to our police force, I have here a letter thanking Officer Ventimiglia for his response and his help for Greg Mitchell back in August. I have another letter here Ed Goodell and Zachary Ramp from a Carrie Murray, thanking for their help in that matter. And another one from Greg Morosco, again thanking Patrolman Hager, Wilms, and Detective Matunas for their help in that matter, helping him. So again, you know, our guys are doing a very, very good job. Other than that, I don't have anything to report. Oh, wait a minute, I do have one thing. I want to let everyone know that the dinner, fundraiser dinner for Casey Wilms' son on October the 2nd has been sold out for over a week. 475 tickets were sold. The manor is going to be completely to the availability of that event. And I haven't gotten a definite figure, so I can't report on it, but I do understand that the response for the pancake breakfast was very, very good for the Wilms family. There's going to be a couple of other things done. I understand there's some bracelets being sold. I haven't seen them. I have to find out who's selling them and where we can purchase them. But it seems like we're really getting a resounding response for the Wilms family, and I thank everybody. That's it.
That's good to hear. Thank you, sir. Councilman Schuler.
Yeah, we had a water main break on Crosby Road in Old Mill Saturday, and since been repaired. I'd also like to say that the project on Eller Park is completed. The basketball courts, tennis courts are now open, and a new playground equipment is in. We started work on Ocean Park, redoing the basketball courts up there and the bathrooms. Hopefully that'll be completed shortly.
Thank you, Jim. Councilman O'Brien.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. And I'd just like to make one announcement about one of our regular attendees. I don't know, some of you may know, some of you may not. Gladys Herb fell the other day and hurt her, cracked her hip and banged her head up. I visited her. She's in rehab. She's coming along. Visited her Friday night, I believe it was. And she was in good spirits. She's always in good spirits. Everybody knows that. So that's probably the most important thing, that you don't get down when something like that happens. But we wish Gladys well, and hope to see her sitting back over there by Rich where she normally sits soon. Okay. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the reports, correspondence. Do we have any questions on those? Everybody have a chance to look at it? There's a few of them there. Jay, is there anything that you would like to add?
Mayor, just to publicly announce that the third item there is the Monmouth County Community Development Block Grant Program.
Right.
We have received notification of the final rankings. Our project, although ranked very high, did not meet the threshold for funding. It was just under the available funding that was allocated. So we will presumably review our application for resubmission next year for submitting an alternate application. The project did come up substantially in the rankings compared to last year, which was the first year that it was submitted for funding. And there's always more funds requested than are available. In this particular case, this year, there was just over $1 million available, but there was almost $3 million of funding requested. So we didn't quite make the mark for receiving funding in the current cycle.
No, we actually missed it by only 9 1/100ths of a point. Yeah.
It was very close.
Gotcha. Thank you, Jim. We'll move right to the resolutions and no ordinance introduction at this time. We'll move to the resolutions. We got Resolution R 2014-155, refund of overpaid taxes. Need a motion in a second.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any questions? Roll call, Jim.
Mrs. Cynthia?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution R 2014-156, authorizing the release of the escrow accounts. Need a motion in a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Do we have any questions? Roll call, Jake.
Mrs. Cynthia?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution R 2014-157, this is between the prosecutor office and Borough of Spring Lake Heights. Need a motion in a second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any questions?
Is this something that we can go first, though?
Yeah,
Okay, Tom.
I'd like a better explanation of what this actually means,
Sure.
because it's a little sketchy.
There's apparently a long-standing agreement between the various municipalities, police departments to provide assistance of mutual aid when required. The county prosecutor's office acts as the lead agency in coordinating those activities, and they have requested that the existing contracts be renewed.
Oh, okay.
So this is a renewal of the agreement that provides for mutual aid between the departments.
Enough said for me.
And would this be at our request for aid, or do they impose aid?
No, it's only upon request.
Anything else, Tom?
No, why, it's a renewal, that's all.
Thank you. Roll call, Jake.
Mrs. Cynthia?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
Resolution R 2014-158, requesting the Division of Local Government approve the amendments to our budget.
And Mayor, these two amendments are both grants. One is the Drunk Driving Enforcement Fund, and the second is the,
The New Jersey Cops and Shops.
that's the one, Cops and Shops. I think that's self-explanatory.
Stop and shop.
Thank you. Any questions? Need a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, Jake.
Mrs. Cynthia?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution R 2014-159, approving the payments for the itemized claims on September 17th, 2014 bills.
I will make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any questions? Roll call, Jake.
Mrs. Cynthia?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution R 2014-160, this is authorizing appropriations of $100,000 from the Municipal Open Space Recreation Farmland Trust Fund. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Do you have any questions? Roll call, Jake.
Mrs. Cynthia?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Can I just say something for a second? Yeah, this is just, this is $100,000 to, we've been talking with the school to jointly repair and upgrade some of those fields. We have the money in the Open Space Trust Fund. We have close to $300,000 now, so this will not raise anybody's taxes. It's money that we've already appropriated for open spaces, and we're gonna spend it, and that's why I'm in agreement. So yes.
Mr. Schuler,
Yes.
Mr. Tinkin,
Yes.
Mr. Vorbach.
Yes.
All in favor? Thank you for that, Tom.
No problem.
For the meeting where we reach the public comment section again, you may rise and speak on any item you like. To step forward, give your name and address.
Rich Gallagher, 916 Prospect. A question about the emergency siren at Ocean Road at the community center. Is there any reason why that is still in use? I know at least 4 council members live within a 3-block radius, and I know you hear it occasionally.
Yeah, I thought the plan was that we're gonna, sorry,
Beg pardon?
they were gonna move it, right?
Well, I was understanding it wasn't supposed to go off during the day.
Right.
But
No,
it
at
has gone
night,
off.
at night.
It goes off at night.
Went off the other night, yeah.
3 in the morning for 20 minutes.
I know with all the mobile devices that are available now,
Are you talking about the incident a week or so ago where it went off in the middle of the night? Okay.
among other times, but that's the
Well-
one that,
That's the most recent.
The incident that was a couple of weeks ago was a house was on fire in another town,
Right.
and we were called as backup. And it is standard procedure that if it is of magnitude and it's a very, very serious issue, that they will blow the whistle between 7 PM and 7 AM. But basically, they have been trying very hard not to utilize the whistle during those hours. And as a matter of fact, they've cut way back during the daytime
right,
as well. But if it goes off in the middle of the night like that, or at an odd hour between 7 PM and 7 AM, you can be pretty assured that they're being called for something serious, either in our town or to back up another town. And this house, if the fire companies from other towns had not responded, the whole house would have been lost.
I just didn't know with all the mobile devices that are available now.
Well, yeah, there was some talk about moving it up, on top of the golf course.
Well, that's still, we're still waiting for some stuff, aren't we, or do we have
Yeah,
it?
that was an item that was considered for budget this year. As I recall, it was about a year ago where we had received some complaints about the use of sirens. At that time, the fire chief revised the protocol, and the instances of its being used had diminished to the point where it was decided to hold off on any further changes. But there had been some preliminary discussions on relocating the sirens to provide a more general and location that would be less intrusive in certain residential areas.
Very,
I do have to
very
admit,
bad. in-
Rich, from going around door to door, that that's one of the biggest complaints is the sirens. And, you know, and I've been away from Ohio now for close to 30 years. And back
Right, I get a
then,
complaint.
they had beepers, everybody had beepers, and they could still, you only use that siren if there was a tornado coming. And that's where we were in the tornado belt, so
And we used to
they
use it when
only,
school was closed.
yeah.
I don't know if anybody.
But now, I mean,
uses it.
they use it for everything.
But,
And then it gets, and then when you stop using it for certain things, for many things, then when it happens, people have a heightened sense of alert, which you might have had, that something was going on there, you know. So, I think it should be either all, either just a very, evacuation type of thing, or should be.
What do surrounding communities do? Do we have any idea?
It's varied. Some of them use their whistles, some of them don't. Some of them have one whistle in a central location. It varies. It's not consistent with any particular way that each town does it.
Right. Now, what you were saying about only in real emergent situations, like, whose determination?
Well, yeah, I
Well,
mean,
it would
that's a
depend-
good
it would
point.
In another town.
That's actually a good point. That's an excellent point, but I still get a lot of complaints about
I mean,
it.
there's a lot of nurses that work at night and sleep during the day. And
Right, well, yeah. So, I mean, if you're gonna vote on it, I would vote to get Yankum, but that's me.
But anyway, just and another, okay.
My problem is, I think it's in a very poor location because it's right there at the playground. And if you got kids in there playing and that goes off,
Yeah.
it's,
But even,
I was gonna put it next to your house so that you say.
No, if you had it on top of the golf course and it went off at night or something like that, it's not on top of a playground. You know.
Well, the
Pursue that.
intent was to put it up on the water tower.
On the water tower, yeah.
Because that had been
There's a
the.
lot of stuff.
That's not right, but if it's up there, it's right on top of somebody's house, it's up, you know.
It's alongside a wall, though. I mean, is it just a one? It's one for the town? It doesn't make sense, like you said, with all the different apparatuses that we have to text people or have a standard text to go out to everybody.
and if I may, on another matter, the Veterans Luncheon, November 11th, at Doolin's, entertainment by Billy Lawler and Deb Lyons. Deb Lyons was Mama Cass's replacement, if anybody's old enough to remember Mama Cass.
Who's the replacement? What's her name?
Deb Lyons.
Deb Lyons, all right.
She came in last year. I thought it was very good. So, and bagpipers and buffet luncheons and any questions, if anybody would like to sponsor or help sponsor, you can see Mr. Jay Delaney or Fallborough Hall. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. Anyone else like to speak? Yes.
Hi,
Rita.
I wanted to address the question about the use of mobile devices. Mobile device is not always something you can count on. You can't. 9/11, people could not get through on a mobile device. Weather, just like an EPIRB on a marine vessel, there are two different types. However, that antenna has to be held in a certain manner to be able to signal and set off the search and rescue for SAR. While I understand the sirens can be jarring, it is one thing to remember that when you are driving through town and they do go off, that's your opportunity to be on notice, to pull the aside. Can you wait 5 minutes to get where you're going? Because a fire truck may come by. They are volunteers. Not only that, sometimes a phone will not work depending upon the type of building they're in. Certain structures are built where a cell phone won't ring and a text message won't go through. A text message, of course, eats up less bandwidth. And when there is an emergency, well, we have a 911 system. If your phone is hooked into a FiOS system, and for your internet as well, your landline doesn't work. That's something I learned the hard way. Had I had them separate, I might as well have had a phone. That was something that the phone company told me after the fact. So, well, I understand that sounds jarring. It's just that, you know, not all of the ways to reach people always are going to work, and it's not always a good idea to rely solely on cell phone technology for an emergency.
Nancy Gannon, 401 9th Avenue. I unfortunately live about as far away as Mr. Warback does from the Whistle. And after Irene, we didn't have power for 4 days, no siren warnings. Sandy, no power for 11 days, siren didn't work. And the original siren when I moved in was one whistle on it, now there are 12. And when that original whistle was damaged, we didn't have a siren for months. It was just wonderful. You could go to the playground, you didn't have to worry. I've been there with my nephews when it went off. I protected their hearing, not mine. I now cry ringing in my ears.
I agree. The sirens are
It's
to
terrible.
be, to notify the public,
Right.
not to notify the emergency staff from showing up.
Right.
So, I mean, that's how it was always
If
with.
the police can respond to an emergency without a siren going off, then
Right.
apparently there's a
Right.
technology that's portable that
Exactly.
can be
Good.
utilized to alert the fire.
But I do have information about decibel levels.
Oh, the thing is much louder.
And damaging to the hearing. And it's 130 to 140 is, if you're exposed for more than 30 seconds, you're permanent hearing damage.
Yeah, I'll say that that siren was down for I might be wrong, but I'm thinking on the order of about 7 or 8 months.
Yeah, it was that the
And
last time.
the new siren that was put in place was exponentially louder than the
Much,
old
much
siren.
louder.
Not even close. I mean,
Yeah.
it was,
I'm hearing impaired, so I can't really agree.
so.
Oh, you can benchmark it
I think,
My father is practically deaf without his hearing aids. He can hear, that siren wakes him up.
I think that there's something should be done, whether it's only used for tsunamis and nuclear war,
Right.
or, placed in a location that has less impact on ground level people, but, I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
It's right above the
Necessary.
playground,
Right.
little kids in there, and again, the siren should be to alert the public of something that, hey, get out, evacuate, it shouldn't be emergency.
It's also an attractive nuisance, frankly, and because you have the playground there, so you're attracting children
Right.
into a zone where, frankly, I think you would damage the eardrums and so on.
Right.
And a mother and a guardian parent of any kind, you can't protect, if you have 2 or 3 kids, you can't help everybody.
Right. Thank you. If you wanted the.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
Jay, did you contact Chief DeLore, see if there's something we can remedy that would be acceptable to us?
I'll speak with him, and I'll also obtain information on the current protocol that's being followed as to what times it's being used or not used.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Evening Board. Eric T. Gilson, 807 Lake Avenue. I'm here in support of, you've beautifully summarized the points on this, because particularly Mr. Vorbach with regard to almost the boy crying wolf type dynamic, in which the thing is going off and really the point is to alert the public, and unless it's a tornado or something along that line, I mean, the point seems to be somewhat diluted. So that in and of itself, I was going to raise that point, but you raised that. And I live on Lake, which is somewhat, it's around the other side, and it's still striking, the noise, even from that area. A comment was made about other towns not even using the system. So there's obviously no uniformity between towns. It would be interesting to talk to other towns, see what the protocol is, compare it to what we're doing. I thought it was a very good point with regard to moving it, at least in an interim fashion, over to where the water tower is and going from there. And I think on a final point, to go from 1 siren to 12 or whatever the number was, it just seems, I don't know, it seems to be going backwards to me. This woman did raise some points with regard to technology, but I think with regard to technology, it's increased in terms of quality, which we would think would lessen the need for something like this. We're going in an opposite direction where technology is advanced, but we're adding more sirens and it's been going off more over the years. So I think something needs to be done, particularly as a resident of that neighborhood, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Yes, that's Paul.
I live by the water tower,
You don't want to share.
Alternative location.
here, but very interesting. No, I have a question about an ordinance. My name is Pat King, I live at 513 Old Mill Road. My neighbor has a couple of mobile homes, which when he first parked them in the driveway, I called, they were there for about 2 weeks. And I called the town, and I got Mr. May, who is the zoning officer, who wrote them a letter citing the ordinance that they were violating, which has something, I've forgotten, something about structures in the front of your house. So it's been on for a while, and now lately it's been coming back. And they park it there for a week, for 2 weeks. I called Mr. May again, and he told me that the ordinance is not clear. And that apparently if you want to work on your mobile home, you can have it in your driveway for as long as you want. So now my problem is this. that when they park that thing there, because it's so big, when I try to get out of my driveway onto Old Mill Road, that's what I see. So I think what I'm looking for is some kind of clarification as to what exactly the ruling is on these things in the front yard. How long they can be there, how big can they be, because I find this dangerous. It's been dangerous for me, the thing was there for a week.
I think, Jay, you have to review that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know the specifics of our ordinance. I know that there is an ordinance that either regulates mobile home or motor home or mobile home parking. It may just limit it to certain areas of the property. I haven't seen the other picture, but I assume you're speaking to the truck blocking the view.
It's all the way out, because the thing is so big, they can't really pull it in, so the truck is all the way to the end of the curb, and then I can't see the guy in the driveway. Plus, now their cars are on the street, which makes it even more complicated. And I'm not quite sure, there's nothing really I can do about it, because Mr. May tells me that the ordinance doesn't really give me a lot of options.
I would just note that the, regardless, maybe they're two separate issues. In this instance, the truck is parked out off the street in the driveway, in which case we may be able to solve the issue of the motorhome or the mobile home, the trailer part of it. But the truck itself, I don't know that there's anything that prevents a truck or any other vehicle from being that far out in the roadway, or in the driveway to adjacent to the roadway.
Right.
But we could take a look at that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Seeing no hand, in a motion to close the voice of the public?
I'll make that motion. Second.
You must be a Jets fan.
Are there any of those left?
Then a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.